We're talking about Curb and Cravings. My name is Ashanti, 360 Mind, Body, Soul. Awesome. Focuses on mental fitness as well as physical fitness. This is part of the U-Turn 8-week program that we're doing at 360, these Periscope discussions. I'm on here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. through June. For those of you guys that know me, I don't believe in willpower. I believe in a deeper power that really has everything to do with the reason why you're doing something. If you know why you're doing something, you got more of an energy pulling you to do the right things versus you always pushing to try to effort to try to do the right thing. We don't want to be dealing with that. We don't want temporary results. We want permanent results. And so we got to go deep within ourselves. 360's vision statement is to return to you and really figure out why you're doing the things and why do you want to lose weight in the first place. Are you doing it for somebody else? That's again something external, extrinsic. We want to do things that are intrinsic because in that way we'll have a easier time getting there. It's going to be a better journey, and it's going to be a lot longer lasting because it's the reasons, are really built in to you. We're going to talk about Curb and Cravings today because again, if you started on Monday and it's now Wednesday, we all know what happens right about now. You're starting to rethink your life. So I'm gonna try to pull you back and talk about how the mental side of why you're craving something in the first place. And then I'm gonna give you an activity to try this week to see if it really works. So cravings are something that we all experience. It doesn't matter if you're a sugar person. It doesn't matter if you're a salt person. It doesn't matter if you like pop or whatever it is. We tend to all have these cravings. And it doesn't even matter if you like shopping too much or if you like wine or if you like people and like to have sexual relations. You all of a sudden romanticize something, whether it be chocolate cake with some pop or some flaming hots or whatever it is, and you're like, I just gotta have it. I just gotta have it. There's this sort of temporary satisfaction that you feel like you're going to get. Right? You're like, I've got to have something that is going to take me away from this moment and make me feel sort of good. What happens? You have the cookie. You got 12 seconds of satisfaction and bliss. You totally checked out from the story in your mind, right? And life is everything. It's everything for you. But then it follows up with this need for like more. We don't realize that the principle of diminishing returns is actually taking place, right? And for those of you guys that don't know what diminishing returns is, it's just the principle that once you have something that you really, really wanted, let's say that first bite of the chip, after that first one is the best one ever. But each and every one that you have after, it diminishes in terms of its satisfaction. You told yourself a story that this is going to make me happy. I could just have one. Your mind is really clever for making up reasons, by the way. You know this. You're seeking for something, right? That's going to make you feel better. So that's what happens. Why is this happening? It's because you're seeking for yourself in food. The craving is a seeking of satisfaction for something outside of yourself. So that piece of candy, that piece of chocolate, that cupcake, I saw a bunch of you guys talking about I'm weak. You're not weak. It's just that we're seeking for something exterior when what we're really looking for is ourselves. We're looking for ourselves. It's a constant battle if you're mind derived. Now, what mind derived means is that you have no presence, attention. There's no attention to what's going on in the now, but instead your mind is always in the future or it's always in the past. And in the story of time, the future and the past, you're always concerned with who righted you, who wronged you, are you right or wrong, better than, less than, where do you fall and where do other people fall, and then limitation. Because it's concerned about all of those things, it's constantly feeding on resistance. It's constantly in this fearful sort of state of mind. And so you have to feed on all of these things to sort of take you away from that type of chaotic thought all the time. No wonder you need a piece of chocolate. So there's this constant, incessant need to sort of fulfill yourself, to escape the now and to check out with something that feels better. Wherever you are right now, And no matter what your story is, I want you to check out a time. Check out a time. I want you to just be right here watching this video with me and all of us. And I don't want you to think about the past. I don't want you to think about what's going to happen next. I want you to be basically sit in the mystery of just being completely with us right here, right now, as this moment unfolds. And as this moment unfolds, is there anything wrong? The isness of this moment. Like, just can you bring in an inner yes just to this moment and how it feels? There's nothing wrong with this moment. It's complete and total just as it is. Now, there's no story. There may not be any drama of, your life, but there's nothing wrong with it, right? So as you get deeper and start to live more of your life in the present moment, then you start to those cravings tend to go away because there's nothing that you're running from. You can't find yourself in a piece of chocolate and some, macaroni and cheese, or the chocolate, frosty. You have to acknowledge and just be willing to sit with yourself. It's definitely hard. But I mean, look, I'm going to go back to the classic example. When you were a baby, it was hard to walk, but you can just stop. If you want peace, you got to choose peace. Doing something that doesn't work is just going to create more of what you don't want. And if you're searching for cravings if you're having cravings all the time, it's a mini checkout. It's a mini checkout. And you could replace that little checkout with rice cakes and apples and peanut butter. But we all know that even you can have too much of a good thing. You're going to have this ravishing sort of need to keep on, feeding yourself something external, somebody external. Spend a bunch of money and acquire a bunch of stuff that you're never going to use. It's a search for self. It's not, you can't find yourself in content, not in people, or experiences. I'm going to go bungee jump. And not to say it's no disrespect to anybody that likes to do any of those things, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's a search for self. So last week we talked about how fear is created by this lack of trust for the now. That's the only reason why we feel fearful, is because we not only don't we trust the moment and whatever's going on in it, that it's going to be okay. And it's actually, the world has conspired to bring us this scenario and this situation, but we don't trust ourselves to be in this space where we're sort of called to task of just living. And so it's necessary that we stay with ourselves long enough to, number one, get to know yourself. You are the biggest love of your entire life. You can't spend most of your time trying to get to know somebody else longer than you even know yourself. And so with the act, that's the hard work, Danny 98. That is not easy. And there's a lot of stuff that you got to swallow, like, ooh, that was me. Ooh, like, but you got to be willing to sit with that also. And through that, you build what I call that mental fitness muscle. Just like you had to learn how to do push-ups, just like you want to learn how to, do pull-ups or run a Tough Mudder or train for a marathon, you got to train that mental muscle. And the thing about it is, you will always be with yourself. Like, your knees may break down. It's a practice. And so that's when the things like meditation come into play. Meditation is simply the act of sitting with yourself long enough that you can stomach saying yes to the now and be with the moment as it happens, so that in the moment of chaos, you actually have that ability too. It's a practice. Return to you. That's 360's vision statement. Return to you. We can make this all about the world and how the world is a bleak place where, that we blame all the time for our dissatisfaction and other people are holding me down. But I'm good for saying that's a victim mentality, number one. Got to be able to take responsibility for every last thing that not only you do, but that happens to you. Because most of the time we had a little pebble that hit us against the head and said, look, this person, probably not a good mate. But you didn't listen, right? You got to take responsibility for that when it happens and it should hits the fan, right? Or whatever it is. Test this. Put my feet to the fire and try this yourself this week. When you have some cravings, okay? You just really need one little sliver of the pie or whatever it is, okay? The cookie that work, the donuts. You just want half. I'm going to just take half. It's clever. It's going to get you into trouble if you don't control it. Who's in control? You controlling your mind, or is your mind controlling you? But anyhow, try this. Once you are in the moment of you're having a craving, number one, if you recognize, oh shoot, I'm having a craving, you are light years beyond most people, because that means that you are in touch with yourself. You just need to practice it a little bit more. So the recognition is one thing, but then stop and take a deep conscious breath and return to yourself and just say, you know what? Ask yourself, how is my body feeling? That's a really great way to get present. Anything that's going to return you to you, the inside of you. Not your thoughts about you, that's still external, okay? But the actual feeling and the essence of you, the feeling. Connect to that place, and I promise you, the craving will go away. It doesn't mean that you're still not going to want what you want. It still doesn't mean that this, clever box of the mind isn't going to tell you, you really should have it and give up 5 million stories as to why it's a good idea. But keep practicing that and you'll be closer to weight loss permanently. But try that this week. It's a big, big game changer. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys later.